insert into the list. Okay, so the position as well as the element you need to pass. Okay, so this we have seen till here. So today we'll go for the next concept, deleting an element. Okay, so deleting an element from the list. Okay, so mainly you have three methods. One is a DEL, okay, DL function or a method, and pop function. Second, and you have a one more is remove. Okay, so you have three different methods in order to delete an element from a list. Okay? And each method will have its own significance. Right, so we'll see one by one. So there are several ways in order to delete an element from a list. Right, so if you know the index of the element, okay, so if you are knowing that the particular index element you want to delete, right, so if you are having a knowledge which index element you want to delete, right, so you just make use of the pop function. So based on the index element, the pop function will get deleted. The element will be gets deleted. So t equal to a, b, c. So I have three elements in my list. Okay. So if I make use of pop, x equal to t dot pop of 1, I'll be passing the index. So 0, 1, 2. So index 1 is the element b. That will be deleted out from the list. So if I print t, so I'll be getting the list A which contains A and C. So B has been removed. Okay. So if you want to know which element has been removed, you just print X. Okay, because I am storing the popped element in a variable X. So if you want to know which element has been deleted, you just print it out. Okay. So pop will modify the list and returns the element that was removed. Okay, so pop is going to modify the list and it is going to return the element that was removed from the list. Okay, this is about pop. So whenever you use a pop, so you need to pass the index value, index number you need to pass. Okay, so based on the index number, the element will be gets deleted from the list. Right. Next, if you don't need the removed value, okay, suppose I don't want to know which element has been removed. Okay, so if you don't need the removed value, you can simply use the DEL operator. Okay, you can simply use a DL. DL is not a method, it's an operator. We will be calling it as, okay, rather than a method, DL operator. So the same example, T is equal to A, B, C, right? So the syntax is you need to use the keyword DL, then the list with the index DLT of 1. So if we just write this statement, so the particular indexed element will be deleted out. So print of T, A and C. So in this case, the list has been removed. Okay, the element has been removed, but will not be having which element. So unlike in a pop function. Okay, so if you don't need to need the removed value, okay, so you can just use DL operator. Okay, so suppose I don't want the some element which is there in the list, so you just go for the delete DL operator. Okay. Next one is a remove function. Okay, remove method, right? So remove is another method in order to remove the value. So if you know the element you want to remove, okay, so in the previous two DL or the pop, you are based on the index you are going to deleting, right? So here, if you know the element, okay, which element you want to remove, but not the index, not necessarily the index. So if you just know which element you want to remove, then you can make use of a remove function or a remove method. So t equal to abc, right? So t dot remove of b. Here I am passing the b, the element which you want to remove, I will be passing to the remove function. Okay, remove method. So separate t, so your list will contains a c. Okay, so all these three functions will, the output is same. Okay, the output is same, but the usage is different. Okay, so one is based on the index number, and it is going to return the deleted value, that is pop. And the second DL, just it will simply removes based on the index. Okay, and third one is remove. It is removing based on the actual element which you want to remove. Okay, so ultimately the output will be same for all the three methods, but the usage is different. So depending upon your requirement, you can make use of any of three methods, right? So here another, to remove more than one element. Okay, so you can use DL with a slice index. Okay, so if I want to remove more than one element from a list, so I can make use of the DL and DL operator, then you can make use of slicing, right? So slicing, as you know that, so that will give you the range of values between the start and end, right? So 1 to 5. So B, C, D, and E will be removed from the list. Fine. So I will just take an example and we'll see all the three methods. Okay, so continuing with examples, right? So suppose my list contains list is equals to, right? So A, B, okay, A, B, C, D, can have any number of elements, C, D, E. Okay, so as you take some 5 elements, right? So then if I want to make a use of pop, okay, so just consider the variable, any variable, deleted element. So a removed or a deleted element, any variable you can take. Removed element is equals to list dot pop. So for the pop, you need to pass the index, right? Suppose I want to remove the index 3, the element of index 3. Okay, so print the list now. So will be, okay. So we see D has been removed. Okay, so because D is the index 3, 0, 1, 2, 3. So based on the index, so the pop is going to remove the particular indexed element. Okay, so if I print, so which element has been removed, if I want to know, okay, so you just print the variable value. Okay, so print removed value, so I'll be getting the D. So D has been removed from the list. Fine. So similarly, you can make use of the DEL, right? So DEL operator, DEL list of 3. Okay, so can you just mention the third index, right? Real, you need to print, right? So after that, you need to print the list. So your list will have the remaining list will be there, right? The ABC. So I am removing. You can remove any other element. Okay, suppose I want the fourth. Okay, I remove this, so you'll be gets removed the fourth element, that is E. E has been removed out. Okay. So similarly, you can make use of the remove function. So list is equal to ABCD, right? So list dot remove. Right? So which element you want to remove? Suppose I want to remove B, right? So list dot remove of B, right? Then print list. B has been removed. It's a B. Okay. So these are the different ways you can remove the value from a list. Okay. Here in the D, if I want to remove a set of values, right? So you can go for the DL with a slicing. Okay. So you can go for the DL list. I want to remove from 1 to 3. Okay, so print list. What is the output now? 1 to 3. So which all the
BC
elements?
will be removed.
Hmm?
BC will be removed.
Which all?
B and C.
B and C. No. ADE. It is showing ADE.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. I told B and C will be removed.
1 to 3, right? 1 to 3 means B and C is removed. So ADE is
Yes,
the
sir.
answer. So these are the different ways of removing a value from list. Right? Is any doubt?
No, sir.
No. So next, we will move to the next concept, right? So till now we have seen the different methods which are available on a list, the built-in methods which are available in a list, right? So you can make use of the append method in order to append single values to a list, right? So you have then we have seen the sort method, okay, so which will basically sorts the elements in ascending or the descending, right? And you can insert element by using insert, by use you can delete element by using del, remove, and such different methods we have seen, right?
Append, reverse.
Reverse, then which all?
Append.
Append is okay. Then
Replace.
replace, yeah, the replace function also we have
Replace.
discussed.
Extend.
Extend, yeah, split function, extend, so all are important, okay? So depending upon the situation and the requirement, you need to use. Fine. So now we will see lists and functions. Right. So lists you can and functions both together. How exactly? Okay, so already we have seen, but on some of the different concepts which are there, we'll also discuss. There are a number of built-in functions that can be used on list, right? So you have a different built-in functions. So suppose if I want to calculate the length of a list, you have a len function. If I want to calculate the highest number in a list or a maximum number, you have a max. If I want to calculate the total sum, you have a sum function, right? So the built-in functions can be used on list that allow you to quickly look through a list without writing your own loops. So what are the advantages of built-in functions? basically they will avoid a loops, right? So if I want to do a addition, right, sum of numbers, so instead of writing a loop with the statements, right, so you can do it in a single statement, right? So that we have
Yes, sir.
already seen, right? Length function, maximum or minimum, right? So if I want to write
Yes, sir.
using a code, so it will require some 3-4 lines. But using a built-in, you can get the answer in one line.
One line.
Mm.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so nums equal to, you have a list of elements, right? So you can make different built-in functions. Suppose I want to calculate the how many elements are there. So I just make use of length, len, right? So which will give you 6, the total number of elements. So I want to find out the maximum among these, then I can make use of max function, right? So minimum, the min function is used. So 3 is the minimum element among this. So 3 is written. If I want to calculate the total sum of all the elements, 3 plus 41 plus 12 plus 9, 74 plus 15. So that will be done just by using sum. Okay. Fine. If I do, if I want to find out the average, so how do you do? Sum of all numbers divided by
Number of numbers.
number, right? That total number, right? So that is by using length. So sum of numbers by length of number, you'll be getting the average, right?
Yes, sir.
So these are the built-in functions you can make use on a list, right? So we will now see an example, simple example, right? So program to compute an average without using a list concept. Okay, so first we will see without using list concept, then we'll go for using the list concept. So both the ways we will see how exactly you need to write a program. Right? So in order to calculate the average of a number, suppose my list, I have some 5 numbers. I need to calculate the average of those numbers, right? So we can make use of any looping, right? So with the list, without list. So without list, we'll see. So first I will take a variable. So obviously I need to find out total. So total is the variable I am using, total equal to 0. And next count equal to 0. Okay. So why? Because I need to keep track the how many values are there, right?
Or
So
the number
count,
of elements.
number of elements, that is count. Okay. So then write a loop infinite count is equal to true, which is always the condition true. Then take the input from the user, right? So by using the input function, if input enter a number, right? That I am storing in INP variable, right? So whenever you want to, because you are writing an infinite loop, right? That is true. So you need to come out, right? So somewhere the user has to, if the task is completed, then he has to come out of the program, right? So for that condition, if my input is equal to done, okay, that means if I am, I don't want the numbers to be entered, so you will have a condition. If input equal to INP equal to done, then break. Okay, so the loop will terminate. Otherwise, okay, so if the user wants to enter, so first he will enter a number, right? Then the value will be converted into a float, right?
Typecasting.
Why
Yes,
we are
sir.
doing typecasting?
Because input returns string value.
Input is a string value, that is okay one. Why the
But we need to
float?
compute on float values, sir.
Yeah, because you are doing an average, right? So
Yes, sir.
whenever you are doing the average, so you are dividing the total by the number. So you will be getting the answer in float. So that's the reason you need to convert input to a float. Okay. So that you store it in a value variable. Then total equal to total plus value each time. in the loop. And
Yes, sir.
count, increment the count by 1, count equal to count plus 1. So then outside the loop, okay, so once you're done with the total and count I have got, so I don't want to continue. Suppose I have taken 5 numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So after 5, the user don't want the next number, so then he will enter done. Okay.
Done.
So then the control will come out of while average equal to total by count. Okay. Suppose if I take if I enter the values as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Each time here it will do the floating conversion for 1.0, then total is equals to total initially 0, so 0 plus the value, whatever the value you are taking, that is 1.0.
1.0.
Okay, 1.0. Then count for the first time, it will be 1. Count plus 1. So 0 plus 1, it is 1. So like this, it will repeat. Next, the user enters 2. Okay, so for this only, the 2 will get added 0.0, then it will be 3.0. Okay, then count will increment 1 plus 1 to 2, so on. Okay, so that will repeat. Finally, I'll be calculating the average equal to total by count. Okay. So what is the total you will be getting if you do the sum of all 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
15 and
6,
into n plus 1 by 2.
Okay, so 15 it will be the total, that is 15.0. Okay, that is a
Yes.
float divided by the count. Count is an integer here.
5.
5. So you will be getting
3.0.
3.0 as the answer that you are printing. Okay. And any difficulty? This is a simple program, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, tell me, everyone understood or any doubts in this program?
Understood, sir.
Hmm?
Understood, sir.
Okay. I'll just execute this program in the notebook. Just take out this number. Okay, so write all the statements by maintain the indentation, so it will ask for the input, enter a number. Okay, so I'll enter number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so then I don't want, I'll enter done. So after that it is going to print the average 3.0. Okay. So like this you can have any numbers. So as many numbers you want, you can give it. Okay, once you're done, so you enter or done, then the average will be calculated. Okay. Fine. So
Yes,
that now you write using a list. This program is without using list concept. Now tell me what are the changes to be made. I have to make if I want to make use of a list concept. Let's tell me.
Declare a variable with list data type.
Okay. Then after that,
Sir, instead of
Then inside the loop, we have to insert all the
inside the loop,
data
we
into
will
the list, and then after that, just use the sum and length functions to print the average.
sum and length. How do you add an element to the list?
in each index.
Append.
In each index,
So
there
we will
has
take
to
an
be
empty
some.
list and then just use
Yes.
append.
You can make use of append method.
Yes, sir.
So these are the changes to be made. Fine. So we'll see how exactly it has been done here. Okay. So using a list. Okay. So this is this program without using a list. Now this version is with one second. Right. So this program, the program to compute an average with using a list. So what are the changes has been done? You just look the program. So first, what is the first line? I'll just ask the question. You have to answer it. Okay. So what is the first line? What is this line? First line.
Declaration.
What is that? What it is going to do?
Data empty list.
Empty list. Okay. So the first statement is creating an empty list. Okay. So if I just make use of the list as a function, okay, list open bracket and close bracket. So this will create an empty list.
Now we could have used just square brackets opening and closing.
Yeah, that is also fine. That is also fine. You can make use of opening and closing bracket. Okay. So here I am using a list function. You have different ways to create. I told no for creating empty list. Then write the loop. So obviously the loop is required while true. Okay. So ask the user to input number. So enter a number. Right. So if INP equal to done, the break. So this part is same until here. Then convert the value. Okay. If the user is done, then break. Otherwise, convert the value that is input to a float. Right. So then now instead of adding, so I have an append method. Since I'm using a list, so I have a method called as append. Okay. So num list dot append of value within a while loop. Okay. So each value, whatever the user enters, so that will be gets appended to the num list.
Yes.
Once the user done, then come out of the loop average. So for sum, you have sum as a function, a sum of numbers divided by. For calculating the number of total numbers, so length function, right? So then print the average, right? So that's it. We try to execute. We will execute this. Okay. Excuse me. Okay. So if you want to know, okay, so if you want to suppose you want to know how exactly the append function is going to work, you'll just print num list over here. Okay, so each time whatever the value you are entering, that will be gets appended. This statement is not required. If you want, you just have a print statement. Yes, any error? Error list object is not callable. Right? Empty list. That is not working. Why it is not creating empty list? First line itself, it is showing an
Sir,
error.
sir.
Declaration is wrong, sir.
Yes. What is the mistake?
Should be list of num list.
List of num list. No, I am creating an empty list. First line is
Yeah, for empty list only. So that should
Just
be
square brackets.
you are telling like this.
yeah, num list is equal to list of num list. Like that it has to be there.
I don't think so.
Sir, num list, sir, num list.
Num list only. Okay. List is equal to- How can it recognize this? Actually, you
Sir,
have
create
a
just with
list
square
method.
brackets.
But function valid syntax.
Sir, num list equals to square bracket open and close.
Yeah, that is there, but that I know. But I am making use of function. I don't know, this function is not working list, so you just use empty brackets. Okay. So actually that should also work. Okay, fine. For creating empty list, so you can just make use of square brackets, right? So enter a number 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? So each time, if you see here, so whatever the number you are converting, you are entering, that will be converted into float, and each time it is appending to the list. Okay. So 3, initially 2, so empty list, so 2 has been added. 3, so 3 has been added. 4, then 55, like that. Once you're done, so enter a done, then you'll get the average. Okay. Yes, any doubt? Any doubt in this program, calculating the average without using list and with using list?
No doubt, sir.
Fine. So next is about lists and strings. About lists and strings. So can you make use of both lists as well as the strings? Right. So just mute your audio. Whoever has muted. Okay. So to convert from a string to a list of characters, you can use a list. Okay. So you can use a list. Suppose you have to convert a string to a list. String to a list of characters, you can use a list function. So you see here. So S is equal to
list. Sir, list method is used to copy one list to another list.
no.
Yes, sir, it's written there in the book.
List method is to copy. Yeah.
Yes, sir, one list to the another list. Copy the elements.
No, sir, it is the constructor, sir. List is a constructor. Create an empty list.
So list is nothing but it is a built-in. It is one of the built-in function actually.
Yes, sir.
It gives an empty list.
Huh?
Yes, sir. It gives empty list if
Yeah, it will
nothing is
give,
passed in the as a parameter.
yeah, it will give an empty list.
It is there, but I don't know why it's not working.
Yeah, that's what I am also. List function is there.
Valid, sir. It is valid, sir.
Okay. So S is equal to span. Okay. So this is a string, right? So suppose if you make use of a list on S, right? So if I print the T value, so which will basically have a list. If you see the output, so which will convert into a different set of characters, right? So string is there. So string is spam is one string. So that it is converting into an individual letter. So S is one P A M. Okay, so the list function will break your string into an individual letters or a characters. So if you want to break a string into a words, if you want to break a string into a words, then you can make use of the split method, right? So we have already seen the split method, right? That will makes your entire string into a different words, right? So if you want a string to be converted and break into an individual letter, then you just make use of list function on string by passing the string as parameter to a list.
Yes, sir. Found the error, sir.
Error?
Yeah, the error was that you created a variable name list earlier, and you
Okay.
didn't delete it. You first deleted and then try to work.
Here, previous program.
So in previous program, you created a list name variable.
Yeah.
Previous one. So you cannot call it like that.
Okay. Now it is
Use
work. Now it
del
is work.
method delete.
Okay. So you are telling the average program.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
That list parenthesis was not working right.
Yeah. It was not working. So num list.
You need to first delete that list del
Okay.
variable.
Okay. We will check. I'll check that. So this was not working because it is giving error. So first DL.
List list.
That's it.
So not sir, not parenthesis, no parenthesis.
So just a DL list.
It's a variable you defined earlier.
Okay. So because in the previous it might have been used with the okay. So here list is used, right? Okay, somewhere. So
Yes.
you want a fresh copy. So that's why it was giving an error. So this is always the function list function which will create an empty list. Okay. So here also you just consider this example. Okay. So S is equal to spam is a string, right? So I want to convert a string into individual letters, right? So just you just pass yes to a list, and this is the result. Res is equal to list of s. Then if I print res, I'll be getting again list. I have to delete it. So once I'll restart the kernel, okay, then also it is not. Then I'll list. See here now. So SPAM, okay, so the string has been converted into individual letters. Fine. Right, so split method, as you know that, right? So split method is, it will convert a string into a set of words. Sorry, splits into a words. So just have an example here. S is equal to a string. So if I make use of the split on this string, as you know, so this will breaks into different words. So finding is this one word for the charge, right? So basically split is to convert the string into words, right? Yes, any doubts? Right, so now you can call the split with an optional argument called a delimiter that specifies which character to use as word boundaries. Okay. So we'll see an example program, right? So for making use of delimiter hyphen as a delimiter, so that will make as the boundary for a particular word, right? So based on the hyphen, we are going to split the entire string into a different words. So suppose S is equal to spam hyphen spam hyphen spam. Okay. So hyphen, this is a symbol, so I'll be storing in a delimiter variable, or you can directly pass here also. So I am storing in a variable, another variable s dot split. So for the split, I am passing the delimiter, that is hyphen. So if I print it out, I'll be getting the words, right? So here hyphen is acting as a delimiter or the boundary for the particular word. Right? So next, so join is the inverse of split. Whether we have discussed the join method, join, what it does, the join method?
No, sir.
No. No, join is the inverse of split. Okay, so in split, the split is going to divide the string into different words, right? So whereas join will combines the words into a single string, right? So it takes a list of strings and concatenates the elements. So join is a string method. So you have to invoke it on the delimiter, right? And pass the list as a parameter, right? So here the same example, t is equal to, so this we have got right in the previous example. So t is equal to this list we got, right? Now I want to make use of join to convert back to the original string. So delimiter, so I'll be taking as the space. Okay. So in between each word, I need a space, right? So delimiter I will be considering as a space. Then delimiter dot join of the list t. Okay. So based on this delimiter join of t, right? So now the first word will be considered, right? Then you will have a delimiter, that is space, then second word will be joined, third, and so on. Okay, so in between each word you will have that delimiter. Okay, you can make use of the join function to convert your string back to the original, right? So split and join are they have one reverse, right? So split is to split a string into a different words. So once you got the list, suppose you have a list with a different words. So if I want to combine it, so you can just make use of the join function. So based on the delimiter, right? Delimiter. So if I print t here, so I think here itself we need to okay. So there itself we have to make use. So so now we'll be getting the string, the entire string with a space between each word. Okay. Yes, any doubts?
No, sir.
So we'll see one more example, the simple example. Program to find an even and odd using list concept.
Our class have started, sir.
You started,
DS
huh?
class.
Okay, we will continue in the next class.
Yes, sir.
Okay, 1 minute, don't go. So I'll save the attendance. So because I'm not able to, 1 minute. Oh, because it is not automatically. Some problem has happened for the attendance sheet. So I installed one more thing.
Sir, I send one extension in the WhatsApp to you. You can use that.
Okay, I don't know. Initially, I was getting properly, but in the last 2-3 days, able to getting the attendance properly. Whether you have sent
Yes,
today's
sir. Bugs
attendance? Oh, shit.
Oh. Fine. We'll try to finish off soon. Okay. Can you all see the heading? Address. Now, whenever we consider it is capable of holding address, if we specify int star p, p is a pointer capable of holding integer address like that. So here we are trying to address of a point, structure variable.